Yeah.
Have you gotten over it?
Not yet. Still lingering there in the back of the mind, but of course, yeah, we have to move on. It's that was what 4 or 5 weeks ago. We weren't happy with that performance, and but that's gone now. So we had a great 6 weeks opener. The next 6 weeks were pretty tough for us. In terms of playing probably the top 6 sides in the competition or top 5 sides in the competition. 4 of those games were away, 3 in New Zealand. So there was a lot of learnings and a lot of challenges that we faced over that period. But still, we squeaked in 1 win against the Blues, which was a pretty good performance. But then let ourselves down with that Sharks performance. So but it's been good 4 weeks now that we've had. There's been sort of 3 or 4 camps, with some guys in the S under 20s, some guys with the box, and some guys with the SAA side. So, they've all come back, this Monday, nice and positive and energized. The camp that remained behind, there was probably about 12 of us, I think, or 11 of us, and mixed with a couple of guys from the Western Province side. We've been able to get through a couple of sessions, some good sessions, but it was important that we trained incredibly hard, while the guys were away on test duty. So, the spirit in the camp was good, and, regardless of what my opinions were of that Sharks game, we're not here to remind them of that. It's about pushing the reset button now and get going for the next part of our campaign, which is 3 round robin games or 3 more games in the regular format, and then playoffs. But our first priority at the moment is getting the guys back settled in, getting them back on the same page as us, bringing some of the successes from the Springboks and SAA camps and S under 20 camps, what they've learnt there, and try and sort of mix it with our stuff and get focused on beating the Cheetahs this weekend.
Mickey, if you got fit that you didn't have before the break, as well you got returning players that you didn't have before the break.
Before the break, well, one's sitting next to me, so Rynhardt's fit again. Obviously, we lost Dan Dup on the weekend, playing against Esvedia, which is unfortunate, but we got Dan Creel back. He played on the weekend. Skaran Tabeni is back at training, but not quite ready for selection as of yet. But pretty much, and Damien Delenda, is the other one who's still out. Hugh Jones is training with the squad now, and hopefully he'll be fit for selection. Sunwolves, Ollie Kebbel is out, and he'll be available for Sunwolves. Ali Vermaak has got a calf strain, so we'll have a look at him this week. So look, there's still a number of injuries, but there's nothing significant in that regard. No really big injuries apart from Dan Duplessis' injury this weekend. So come the Sunwolves, we should have a full makeup of players to select from.
If you're open to just excuse my ignorance if it's common knowledge, I don't know, but what's happening with Kitsy, with Stephen Kitswell?
Yep, Kitsy's available. Kitsy's available. The only thing is, he's when it comes to quarterfinals and semi-finals, that's something that we have to, look at. There is ways that he can play, but but at the moment he certainly is available for selection for the next 3 games.
What is the regulation at the moment?
Well, obviously, if we got it's like with any player, and it was discussed last year as well, that if there's huge amount of injuries in one certain position, you can always, advocate for somebody to come in and play.
What's the situation with JC?
JC's available? JC. Yeah, JC's back and available for selection.
Somebody like Skara, for instance, if he suddenly started playing now, he wouldn't be available, would he?
No, he is, because he's part of the squad.
Or is he part of the squad?
So he's a contracted player with us. Look, he was part of the injured squad, so then we would have to, put him in there. But again, with Skara, it's about really getting him back up to scratch. He's come off a really big injury, long-term injury, so there's no point in rushing him back,
I suppose Stephen is an interesting one, because on the one hand he can help you in your final push.
Yes.
But then on the other hand, it can also be counterproductive.
Yeah, look, I mean, I guess you have to weigh those options up, you know. I mean, obviously you want to be playing the players that are going to be, you know, in the quarters or whatever the case may be. But you know, our focus right now is to, you know, get back on track. You know, I mean, we've had a long break now, and our focus has got to be on the Cheetahs, and we'll select the best possible side for that game. If that includes Kitsi, then it does, you know. So, you know, we need to, you know, get our campaign back on track, you know, and you know, and as I say, there's certain challenges, which is for every single other team, you know, with players. You know, we were missing 14 players over the June period now, and we need to get them back on track with the way we want to play and our goal, and you know, set some goals with them. And as I say, we'll select the best possible side this weekend in order to go and win up in Bloem.
What is the situation with Dan?
Dislocated shoulder. Yeah.
Is there any injury concerns amongst your returning Springboks SA players?
So on the Springbok level, everyone is being cleared. SAA, the only player that's come back with a niggle is Dillyn Leyds. Yeah. Am I right? Yeah.
So, Steph David's back as well.
Yep.
I'm thinking of something.
Dillyn, you must come back. Must be amazing coming back now, Springbok. Just must give you a lift. Massive lift.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, being part of that setup for the first time was pretty special, and good to have come away with a 3-0 series win against the French. But yeah, that's all done now. Like I said, it was special to be there. And, you know, like you said, we've got hopefully 6 more weeks ahead of us with the Stormers of 2017. So, you know, that's where we're putting all our focus on at the moment. And first and foremost, looking to go to Bloem to get a win, because it's always been a difficult game for us up there, and will obviously be the same this weekend. So yeah, we're not looking too far ahead of ourselves and focusing on this weekend.
You actually came up there with some intelligence on them, in the sense that you've been coached by their coach for the last
month, yeah. No,
was that going to be an advantage? I mean, you know a lot of, you know what he's about now.
Yeah, you sort of obviously get to know the feel he has for the game and the way he thinks and he wants to play. But obviously it will be different, you know, when he gets back to the Cheetahs. They're a very good side, and you know, they've got some guys in there, quality players. So, you know, it's one thing, you know, knowing what they want to do, but it's another stopping them. So yeah, we've got to go do our homework again and make sure we're on top of everything when we get there.
Dillyn, obviously a guy that just ahead of you, the Springbok set up a Raymond rule. That's another interesting challenge. I mean, everybody's been talking about you guys being like brothers in the pop game, but
yeah,
you'll be quite
I suppose, you know, it's rugby. You know, obviously when you get to the Springboks, you all have a common goal in mind, and you know, you back each other up and you help each other on the field and off it. But obviously now we at our different unions again, so you know, we're all gonna have a full go at each other. But you know, that's just, I guess, why we play this game and why we love it so much. But yeah, it's not really a one-on-one battle, so to say. It's obviously there's 14 other players on that field as well that we need to look after. So we'll just make sure that we're ready and well prepared for it.
Rob, your team looked like they were sort of a little bit slow at the start of that Sharks game, and then they came a bit later on. Is there anything from that stage of the season that you specifically worked on, or you're going to be working on this week, going into this remaining phase? I mean, you basically have made the quarterfinals, so what are you getting out of the remaining couple of weeks of round robin?
Okay, you know, that game was like it was after that game. You know, it was a difficult. You know, the feelings after that game weren't good. You know, in the sense that we were all disappointed. You know, we were you look back on that game and you go, well, we were fairly dominant in most aspects of the game, yet the result, it didn't even look like we were going to get the result at any stage. Lots of questions were asked. Team had really qualified, or was there complacency or anything like that? And from our side, we spoke about it this morning in our leadership group, and the fact remains is we've got to move on from that. It was a disappointing game from our side. We all realise that, but right now it's all about us resetting and resetting our goals and getting that energy back in the camp. And look, we haven't been able to get our hands on with the rest of the squad because they've been away. So what are the work-ons that we've got to get right this week? And we as a group will select one or two things that we need to focus on, and just get back on the horse again. And first and foremost, we need to get the energy going again and the excitement going. And there's plenty of that, coming from, as I say, all three camps: the camp that stayed behind, and the SAA and Bob camp. And we just need to get that synergy and going again within the group. And that's going to be our biggest challenge, really, this week. But I must say that everyone's contributed today. It's been a short day for us, and but there's lots of excitement, and the guys are keen to come back. I think that we're in a good position, to do well in this competition. But it starts this week, and we've got to get it right, against the Cheetahs on the weekend. Select the best possible side going forward, and and slowly start building some momentum as we go along.
If you having been a Springbok yourself, guys like Dillyn coming back, and even having had that honour of captaining the side, do you think that could potentially lift them another notch?
That the players themselves or the squad? Both. Absolutely. That's why I say today's been a really good day for us, Steve. It's like I said, we haven't spent a huge amount of time together, but the meetings that we've had and the sessions that we had have been good. It's great to have a lot of our leadership group in the Springbok leadership, which does help. Both Sia and Evan and France, those guys have contributed in the past and have come back with a lot of good energy, today. The fact that Dillyn got his first cap, I remember what it was like coming back to your union. You're excited to perform again and contribute, which is important. And just playing for the Springboks gives you a huge boost of confidence, especially if they're doing well. And the Springboks did do well. I think culturally they've got a few things right there, and the team is playing pretty well. So all that energy and that confidence they bring back to the unions. And so the Springboks have got a critical role to play this week and next. And likewise SAA, you could see that they were enjoying themselves. There's a lot of energy there, and that's the role of these guys who've represented their country. They come back and they bring that confidence and that experience that they've had, and they add value to the squad, because the guys who have remained, like Rynhardt and co, they've worked incredibly hard, and they look forward to everybody coming back so that the Stormers can get going on their campaign again.
It was likely you're going to play New Zealand opponents in the quarterfinal. I think there were 2 rounds of Super Rugby where they played subsequent
afterwards,
to the last game. Was there anything that you picked up, or even in the Lions series? I know it sounds ridiculous because it's an international game, but anything new? I know you always watch these games very keenly.
Yeah, no, look, there's plenty. I mean, I think the Lions series has been fantastic. It's a great indication of where the game is going. Even this test match this last weekend was one of the best test matches I've seen in a while. You can clearly see the tactics that the All Blacks used against the Lions, which we certainly took note of, and likewise the tactics that the Lions have been using against Super Rugby teams, and effectively so. And you take the case of the game against the Chiefs. This game against the Hurricanes obviously is another game that we watch, but Gav, we don't want to look too far ahead. Like the most important things, yes, we have to keep an eye on what's happening with those New Zealand teams, because we are playing a New Zealand team later on. But we got to get our stuff right first here, and getting that team to gel. And looking forward to this Cheetahs game. And we're in a unique position. In the case that that we sort of know our destiny for now for the next 3 weeks. But what's most important is that we get our game right here, so that we can get a good win against the Cheetahs. Look, Steve, I think that there certainly will be a lot of motivation there. They're playing at home. We beat them, convincingly last head out. And I don't think that will be the case again. I think that there certainly are a different side at the back end of the competition when there's less pressure on them. They play with a lot more freedom. They're difficult to beat there. I think our track record there in the last 4 years, I think we've won 1 out of 4. So, it's been tough to play them in the past. But, from our side, like I said, we just got to focus on us and get our stuff right. We can take a lot of heart out of that game at Newlands. And we certainly will look at that quite in depth, and work towards that. But I feel that the Cheetahs have certainly improved since that game. They were pretty competitive overseas, even though they lost by big margins. We certainly have seen a big improvement in the way that they play, and they had a pretty convincing win against the Sunwolves in overseas, which was quite impressive. So, and a number of their players have also represented SAA and Box, so they're coming back with a lot of confidence as well. And I think that Franco himself will take a lot of heart out of the Box performances, so that gives him a lot of confidence as a coach as well. So. There are challenges across the board for us this weekend, which we certainly are looking forward to, because if we want to go further in this competition, we need to beat the likes of the Cheetahs away.